Hello.
Good
Hi.
day.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are
We're
you?
doing. How are you doing?
I don't even want to talk about it.
Oh, it's sort of is the Monday of the week.
Yeah, no, I've been dealing with computer issues for the past 2 weeks, and I'm still not through it.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's been a nightmare.
Looks like Gabriela is muted.
Is she muted? Yeah, Gabrielle. Okay,
There we
there you
go.
go. No, you're not.
No,
Hi.
she's not. There you go. Did you get
Okay.
my hand signal?
Supposed to be like this.
Oh,
Can
right.
you can you
This,
count to
this,
10 for me,
this.
Gabrielle?
Sure. One, two,
Okay,
three.
you're a little far away from your microphone. Is there any way you're getting closer?
Let's see. Is that any better?
A little closer.
How's that?
I guess that'll work. Yeah, it just sounds hollow in there.
How's that?
Yep, that'll work.
Look at that smile.
Hey,
That takes.
I can bring the mic even higher. Are we live yet?
Yeah, let's
Nope.
bring the mic higher.
Okay. Give me a second.
Sure. Good weekend, everybody.
It's over.
Saw
Yeah.
your pictures. Nice area there you got going on, Todd.
Oh, on my dock.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Yeah, my kids like to come over swimming. It was a little cold to swim that day, so I figured. But they've been complaining about all the lake weeds. So
Oh yeah.
So I got that rake and I said, okay, well, let's clear out some weeds.
Good
How's
job.
that, folks? It's much closer to my mouth.
Yeah, that'll be better. That'll work.
That'll work.
Yep.
Great.
All right.
How much time we got, Cam?
Got less than a minute, so stand by. Here we go.
This
Playing the Beatles.
Yeah.
is contacttalkradio.com. Consciousness in action. And you are taking action into your consciousness by tuning into Contact Talk Radio.
And on tunein.com, Ping.fm, and Upsnap Mobile.
Contact Talk Radio.
Welcome to Life Mastery with Todd Alan, the talk radio show that dives into the science of higher consciousness. Join Todd and his guests weekly at 10 a.m. Pacific Time and learn how to live a peaceful life with intentional mastery. Enjoy a survey of inspiring topics such as abundance, intention, health, manifestation, love, and transformation. It's all right here. Leading authors, speakers, coaches, entrepreneurs with stories and messages to support your well-being, let alone your most evocative dreams.
Hey, 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 it's another groovy day, and that's because everyone knows I make it that way. Da, da, da. I see Jackie mouthing me. As always, I really like to get connected before the show, and if we can just consciously think about connecting to that power source that gives us power. And if we just kind of close our eyes a little bit, if you're driving, you don't have to do this, but get consciously connected and really think about it. And let's just take a minute, connect, and let's take in a deep breath. And like I always like to do, let that breath out with a big ah, and just let your essence flow right up through your speaker box and out into the universe. Let's do that one more time, but this time really, really get clear and focused about what you're grateful for. What is it that you're grateful for? And just be with that, feel it, taking a deep breath. And let all that out with a big ah, right up through your solar plexus, out your speaker box. let those dreams, visions, and goals go, and allow the universe, spirit, God, whatever it is that you believe, the opportunity to make those come true for you. Da, da, da. Hi, Jackie.
Hello.
How's Jackie today?
Jackie is frustrated today. You know, I've been dealing with this broken ankle, and it's almost 3 weeks since surgery to repair it. Thankfully, they put me in a boot. I'm off the splint and off the scooter, so I can put some weight on my foot using this boot. But even though it's easier to get around, it just takes me so long. It takes me so long just to go from one side of the house to the other.
You told me something very profound, and you said, you know, I'm really awakened, and I'm really conscious, and I really have more heart for the disabled.
Absolutely. And I know this is temporary, so I shouldn't be complaining. I should be grateful that my foot is on the mend, that it's going to be normal again within a couple weeks. But I've had some frustrating moments in getting into the building where I teach some of my classes, and the elevator has been out, or the ramp that handicapped people use to get into the building has been out, and I've had to hop up flights of stairs on one foot with pulling my scooter behind me. And it's exhausting. It's exhausting. And my
creating
my good foot's taking a beating, for heaven's sake. But I should feel grateful. I'm trying to get into my grateful zone.
Yeah, well, you know what? Yeah. The really cool part, though, is that, you know, a lot of people would go through their daily lives and not recognize how they're feeling, right? And recognizing how this is affecting them, and how this is making a deeper awareness and an appreciation for other things in the world. Most people would just go through their daily life and get kind of bent out of shape and be bent for the rest of the day and go to bed bent.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. No, I try to not feel that way all the time. And and like I said, I am trying to tap into the gratitude that I should have for just the fact that there's great doctors out there. They know what they're doing, and they've repaired it, and it's on the mend. And my energy level will come back eventually, and I'll be able to work out again eventually. But yeah, I'm good.
So how are those kids doing? If we'll just remind the listeners, Jackie teaches extracurricular activities and teaching the youth public speaking, but there's a lot more going on with that too. And you can find her at JackieBaileySpeaks.com. But how are those kids? You have about 3 weeks left with them, and
yeah, we're working on the last trimester before school is out for the summer, and so that leaves us about 3 more weeks of class time, and then we go into summer camps. So we've got some great summer camps planned. There are 2-week sessions for summer camp, and each session has its own special theme. So the first session is going to be storytelling, how to tell a story like a superhero storyteller. And then we've got a debate, a couple of weeks of debate. We'll be debating fun topics that the kids will come up with and research.
And these kids are like 10, 11, 12 years old, right? And they're learning these skills.
Yeah, so for summer camps, the morning class is for the middle school group, and then the afternoon classes will be for the elementary school groups. But right now, my classes, the kids range in age from 10 to 13.
Wow. And you're teaching, and I know you've shared on the show before, but you're watching these kids blossom into areas that they would not be exposed to.
Absolutely. They are finally learning how to just converse with each other. They had such a hard time even just looking each other in the eye and using the name of the person they're talking to and just having a conversation. As funny as that is, and as simple as we make it seem to just converse with people, these kids don't have that skill anymore because they're always on a device. They're texting or playing a game, and we've lost that simple ability to talk to people.
Right.
And so that's been fun to watching that. It's been fun to watch them blossom, even in that area that seems so
Right.
everyday to us.
And that's a big important part. Wow, that is so cool. Well, if you want to know more, go to JackieBaileySpeaks.com, and I think you can find a link to her on our we have a brand new website. Go check it out. LifeMasteryRadio.net. Just put up a brand new website. It's really cool. We're still working with it a little bit, but it is live and you can find out everything there. And Jackie
Fabulous.
also spends a little time every week creating a newsletter, and it's a really cool newsletter, and it highlights who's been on the show, who's coming on the show, and the blog post for the week. She compiles what we gained and learned and her insights from each show and creates a little blog post about it, and she does a great job. And if you want to subscribe to that newsletter, you can do that from the website, or you can text Life Mastery Radio to 22828. Did I get it right, Jackie?
You got it. 22828.
Text Life Mastery Radio, and it will ask you for your email address, and bada boom, bada bang, you'll get our newsletter once a week. And we just use that to publish that newsletter. That's all. We will not share that with anybody else or sell it or do any of that other stuff. We just use it to let you know who's been on the show and who's coming on the show. And you can check out my book too while you're at lifemasteryradio.net. 6 Keys to Life Mastery, Unlocking Life Skills for Successful Living. And it's a really cool book. I know that you really love it. You'll read it, love it, and then you'll go back to Amazon and leave some great feedback about it. That's what I'm calling into the world right now, is that you'll love my book and give me some feedback. That's what it's all about, really. That's what sells more books.
Absolutely.
Okay. Are you ready for the show? I see our guest. She's got this big, huge smile on her face, and I'm going to ask her, but I bet that smile takes her places. Our guest today is Gabriela Masala, and she is a lover of art, movement, music, nature, humanity, and cosmology. The universe and natural world are among her greatest teachers. Mine too. She holds a master's degree in culture and creation spirituality with a concentration in art as meditation. Her decades in the professional world of mind, body, spirit education have taken her across the globe to diverse teaching environments. Her studies with various mentors and teachers and a wide spectrum of foci inspire her unique masteries. Gabriela was born a mystic, and by the age of 11, she was experiencing a full-blown love affair with the divine. The vast relationship to spirit continues to be her anchor in life. She is devoted to honing the embodiment of the divine source energy, tapping the power of creation, and inspiring others to do the same. We're here today with her to talk about her book and many other things, but our main focus is on her book, Everyday Magnificent: Practices to Activate an Unlimited Life. Hi, Gabriela. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing so well. Great to be with you.
So what does it look like to activate an unlimited life?
That is such a great question. I would say first, it is a birthright to be in our unlimited nature. It is a birthright to live a magnificent life. That this is our native state, is magnificence, is love, is peace, is wholeness, is freedom. And so what it looks like will have unique details to what lights up each person, what they love, what their passions are, what they value. And yet the energetic experience will be similar, which is that a life that is tapping our unlimited nature is a life where we feel we are deeply tuned in and turned on and directly connected to that source of the mystery, by whatever name we call it. where we are engaged in life, where we feel at a core level, maybe even beyond words, where we are living and loving in a way that we are wired for, that we are meant for. That is the bigger yes to life.
And this is something we come into the world with, right? We come into the world connected and full-blown divine love. And then we begin to grow and develop, and we lose that connection. Is that your understanding?
In the dominant paradigm is how I'm going to answer that question. In more of the Western psychology and the paradigm of what some might say the old story of separation, within that context, there's a conditioning and a programming that happens that definitely dulls down our multidimensional, extrasensory, even supernatural awareness and birthright. So yes, I think all children are born mystics. All of us are born these just vast, divinely connected, lit up beings. And then through the process of programming and conditioning and immersion in the dominant paradigm, there's different levels of remembering and forgetting and compensating that I think happen so that we can function in this wild three-dimensional reality.
So you get all buzzed up. Okay, so explain to us a day in the life of Gabriela in an unlimited life. So what makes it a difference when you get up in the morning and the way you show up in the world?
That's such a fun question. The first thing I'll say is that every day is different. So that part of what makes my life unlimited and an adventure is that I have that perspective, that I wake up the moment I start to shift from sleeping consciousness brainwaves into waking. The immediate first thought that I have through practice, through intention is, right. Wow, I'm alive. It's a new day. I wonder what's in store. So
see, for me, it's another groovy day, and let's see what's going to be groovy about it, right?
Right.
Is that the same thing? Yeah.
Yeah, it starts with a sense of wonder, a sense of curiosity, and I always pause when I can to drink in the messages, the wisdom from the sleeping or dream time, and ask, what are you trying to show me? What wants to come from that unconscious and dream time realm? You know, some would say we go to sleep at night and we wake up in other worlds. So what wisdom wants to come that I've just been experiencing that wants to be lived forward into my life? And then I flood my field with gratitude. And before I even get up to wash up or meditate or do some breathing exercises, I first just flood my field with all the things I'm grateful for. From the simplicity of a deep breath to the beautiful trees out my window to my amazing family that I love. So that's the tone that starts my day.
Nice.
And is there another practice? So I always like to read something inspirational, right? Even if it's short, just to give my brain, because I have this gray matter inside this housing right here, that needs something to cook on all day long, is what I like to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So do I read anything in the morning?
I'm just curious if something, you give your brain some brain food to stew on all day.
You know, like I said, every day is different. Usually after some form of internal and contemplative time solo, where I'm meditating, I'm doing pranayama or breath exercises, I'm just tuning in and listening, recording my dreams. Then I go downstairs, and sometimes the first thing I do is go out to the garden and meet the sky and meet the earth. And so that's always a great inspiration. Other times on my way down, I see my little dogs, my amazing daughter who's a pure light of love, my awesome husband. And so there's always connection and affection that happens next. So there's touch, there's contact with the natural world, there's human affection, there's checking in. And then sometimes as a family over breakfast, we'll pull some oracle cards and do readings together. So that's one way that sometimes we take a seed from a written or symbolic external form, and we read cards and share cards together. And then we usually scatter out to our day. I homeschool my daughter, which is awesome. And often our days start with the Everyday Magnificent Journal. And so we start the day off with journaling, which includes inquiry and writing and art, visual art, process art rather than product art, and some form of expressive movement, yoga, authentic movement, dance, qigong type exercises. So every day starts like that, and then it always unfolds in a different way.
Yeah, it's a mystery, right? That's part of being a mystic is living in the mystery.
Yeah, I love the mystery, and I love that these simple practices really just keep me on track so that I'm already waking up into my activated, unlimited nature. I'm waking up into it. It's how we roll. And so that's really the bigger nest or container that's holding whatever else unfolds in the day.
Wow.
Cool. Jackie has a dog and a turtle that she connects with every day, I think.
That's right.
Tortoise. I'm sorry, a tortoise.
It's a tortoise. Well, Gabriela, I noticed that a few times in some of your writings, you've used the words that we are carried by a current of grace. And I think that is so beautiful. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? What does it mean to be in a current of grace?
That's a good question.
Yes. First, I'll bow to the mystery in the love and honor of not knowing and not defining, and really bowing to the place where each one of us has our own direct experience of what I'm about to say will mean to them and how it fits. So for me, the current of grace that's always carrying us is the experience of living in and being an intimate part of a greater unified field of divine love, of source energy, of high vibrational frequency that one may say is a current, right? It's a current, just like there are different waves of energy. This is a current. It also gives me the feeling of a current in a river that's carrying me, and that sense of how every river ends at the sea, at the ocean of consciousness, the ocean of love, the ocean of bliss. So that's for me what the current of grace is, that no matter what's arising, that arises in every human life, of suffering, of pain, of sorrow, of intensity, of challenges, no matter what is arising, there's always a bigger field of consciousness that is not separate from us, that is holding us, that is carrying us. And where my attention lies, where I'm resting my attention, depends on whether I'm going to be aware of that field or not.
Nice. Wow.
So, Gabriela, we've kind of defined what your daily life looks like. And, there's a lot going on in our world today. And if you had one wish, there's a lot of young people, they're driven, they want to be successful. And in my studies, what I understand, people like Albert Einstein and Thomas Edison and even Steve Jobs, somebody more recent, they really claimed that their success came from their spiritual connection as well. Mm-hmm. What is going on? We all know that there's this awakening happening, but what are you noticing, and when you're working with clients, I guess, in the younger generation, that we can help them understand? Because to me, I don't think they understand the concept, or they may have an inkling of it, but they just help me out here.
Sure. Yes. I will say, first of all, that most of my clients are women, and that also couples. Usually it's the woman first who's waking up to a whole next level of her evolutionary aliveness. And then sometimes they bring in family and partners so that there could be a whole family alignment and awakening. So I have a almost 13-year-old daughter. I'm certainly tuned in to the power of youth and how the young people are on some level. They are living in an age where there's more technology and virtual reality and artificial intelligence than maybe we've ever seen in our recorded history as a species. And yet everyone knows in their deepest heart the experience of love, the experience of real connection, the experience of authenticity. So where I'm always going to return the attention of anyone, whether it's my clients or the youth in my life, is to do their own self-inquiry about who are you, and return them to their own deepest hearts where they can get their answers and their direct connection to the source of life, to the mystery of life, and to turn their attention towards, again, that unlimited or multidimensional or infinite place that is directly available to everyone, that goes beyond the programs and kind of the trance of the culture, the sleepwalking, where there's so much that will distract us, overstimulate us, entertain us, fill up our senses. And yet there's a whole different place where we can dive in and really feel, who am I? What is this life for? Right? Like, why are we even here?
You followed my trail perfectly. Because what I would say right now is that's where your book comes in handy, right? So explain to us the power of journaling in supplying us with what you just described.
Great. I will do my best.
Did I get it right? Did you follow my little trail of breadcrumbs?
Yeah, I love it. Your trail of lights. I love it. So Everyday Magnificent is an interactive playbook, workbook.
Playbook. Not, yeah, we want to make sure, heavy emphasis on play.
Heavy emphasis on play, because play accesses our wonderment and our curiosity, and it stimulates our brains in new ways, and it gets us out of that often driving analytical part of the brain that tends to separate, tends to judge, tends to measure, compare, good, bad, right, wrong, so that we're even living in a time and in a culture where a lot of people have judgment of their own abilities, as far as how many times I hear in my line of work, I'm not an artist, I'm not a dancer, I'm not a singer, I'm not a poet, I'm not a mystic, where I feel like, no, that's brainwashing. That's not true. So it does require, to engage the Everyday Magnificent Journal, it does require a willingness to get beyond those old programs, and then to start activating our own, because it's Everyday Magnificent by our own design, right? It's not my idea. It's not my book. It's your book.
Right.
I just offer practices in the area of heart presence, mindfulness meditation, fourfold meditation, which means that dance becomes a meditation, and walking, as well as sitting or moving in a practice like yoga or gardening or cooking or parenting, right? And then really activating our energy body. So I feel that this is a time, and this is a great way, as Jackie and you both mentioned, to take attention away from our digital and technological devices for all of the goodness that they allow us even to connect here today.
Ding, 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 ding. Right.
But to really get into the body, get the breath moving, get the breath circulating, get connected to the sky, get colorful things in your hands and create and draw. Ask the questions that are pointing us more deeply towards our own self-inquiry and self-discovery. And then, without judging or having a predefinition of what I'm going to say, of who I think I am, being surprised by that process, engaging a more vast consciousness into an expressive, playful, creative, embodied life of love.
So now I got to put Jackie on the spot, because we've done a couple of shows here in the last couple of months about journaling and the power of journaling. And Jackie, I know, has made the comment that she used to do it, right? And that she was going to start doing it. But you know this power that she's describing, right?
I do.
No, I was talking to Jackie, but that's okay. We'll come back.
No, I actually began journaling at the
Again,
the 1st of May.
Thanks, Left Mexican Radio.
And I can't say it's been every day because of my surgery and healing, but most days I will just jot down what I experienced during the day, how I felt about it, what plans I have for tomorrow to make it even better or to change what I felt like I couldn't do my best at that day. And it has definitely helped. And I think for me, most of the benefits I get from it is just a winding down at the end of a day, reviewing my day, and then seeing where I did do some good things. And were some frustrating parts, but I actually helped someone else or was able to complete a project that was important. And so it has been a real good ability. It's been an excellent experience in reviewing a day and recognizing the power that I have that sometimes I just forget. We don't think about unless we purposefully study about it.
Self-reflection. And so then, Gabriela, your book helps a person with what Jackie just described, except it's a little more guided, right? You actually subject people to some questions to help get them going.
Yes, so there are sentence stems, and there's inquiry questions, and there's template pages that also include mandalas, sacred circles, putting color, image, symbol form into a circle as a way to also work with that whole brain coherence of right and left sides of the brain. And then there's also suggested meditations and practices for every day, and touchstones, which are really simple 1 to 3 minute short practices that can mostly be done anywhere, anytime throughout the day that reconnect us to that unlimited state. And to just piggyback on what Jackie was saying, it's beautiful that you're using your journal that way. And as I was hearing you share about your recent injury and recovery process, I would even playfully encourage you to engage a conversation with the deeper healing and soul awareness of your being and ask, what is this injury wanting to do most? You know, what is this? What is the gift and blessing that this is trying to give me? And just engage it on that deeper level. I mean, it's mind-blowing how you are having to reorient to every aspect of your life as you're having to pause and surrender and move in a whole different way through this recovery. And that's full of riches in terms of growth and evolution of consciousness.
Wow. So can you share with us some experiences you've had with clients where you've seen them change through this process that you've helped them to facilitate?
Sure. Yes. You know, there's so many. One specific that comes to mind was working with a mother in her 30s, 2 beautiful children, so full of light, such a beautiful, bright woman, but just didn't feel connected to any sense of her spirituality, to any sense of her own wisdom. And so through the practice of working with mandalas, of working with the Everyday Magnificent Journal, of working with the activities that really redirect anyone who does them to their own sovereign direct connection to spirituality. So it kind of cuts out the middleman. And it says, you know, with all due respect, the age of the guru is over. It's time to wake up this power in your own deepest heart and receive your information. And so over the course of working with the journal, I watched her work with sound and movement and really start to embody the fullness of her bright, beautiful spirit that I would see in her eyes and in her smile. I watched her make empowered actions based on her soul creations or her goals that we would map through the journal, I watched her come into power with her voice and really find and claim her voice of, this is what's true for me now. This is who I am. This is what I'm here to express. These are the boundaries I need to have in place to educate my family and my community so I can fully come forth. I watched her make a radical transformation in her own self-definition and saw that brightness that I noticed from the beginning find its way into her embodiment, into her relationships, into her speaking and articulating her reality, and into her heart. So that's one example. There are many.
Wow. Nice.
Well, you hit on something a little bit earlier too, and this is a practice. And whoa, wait, let me beep. Let's back the truck up a little bit here. Because I think we need to preface something too, Gabriela, and that is, this is non-denominational. This spreads across all spectrums of religion and belief, and actually ties in with whatever a person believes in. And maybe you could expand on that a little bit.
Definitely.
We want to make sure that everybody understands this is reality.
Yeah, this is for everyone. This is for everyone. So I experience, not as a belief system, but my experience is that we are all divine creators. And how I would even define divine is that there is a infinite pool of consciousness or energy that we are all able to drink from all the time. And we don't need to only go to an establishment where it's been decided that there's a priest or a intermediary that gives us that connection. But I feel that we are all a living sanctuary. We're all a living altar, a living temple in these miraculous bodies we have, a divine circuitry. And that goes to the depths of every single spiritual tradition, it's science. I mean, even science has proven this now when we look at the model of quantum physics, of quantum-based reality. So one of my loves in my master's work in creation spirituality was studying all the world spiritualities and religions from every nook of the planet and seeing what are the commonalities. And that we all have a commonality where the creative force of the creator, that mystery, through our own expression and creation, directly connects us to the magic, the power, the love of life. And so all traditions, wherever you are, whatever religion speaks to your deepest heart, whatever the God of your understanding, people have gathered since the beginning of time to sing, to dance, to tell stories, to share, to connect, to celebrate, to work on the earth and be in connection with the earth, to make music, right? So that these are universal. To love, this is universal.
Right. Something come to mind, Jackie? Huh?
Well, she was talking about quantum physics, and in your book it mentions quantum reality versus a Newtonian reality. Can you go into that a little bit more?
I can in a very user-friendly way. To back to some of the mentors, I love the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza, Greg Braden, of Bruce Lipton. There are many. Deepak Chopra, who decades ago was talking about. So there's a disturbance in the field. So the quantum perspective of reality was actually starting to make its way into peer-reviewed science and into the mainstream in the 1920s, right? But Newtonian-based reality, Newtonian-based science, which would have us say that we are separate beings in a world of separation, that we are matter in a world of matter, and that then went on to be the foundation of our science, our healthcare and medicine, our education, our governance, our economics, based on separation. And quantum-based reality would say we are actually an interbeing Thich Nhat Hanh has been known to bring that word into the mainstream, interbeing. We're not individuals, we're interbeing, we're one being, we're whole beings, and we are energy in a world of energy, that we're all just different expressions and frequencies of different waves of energy that when they slow down enough and are dense enough, particles are born. And then we have particle reality, which becomes matter. So it's a really beautiful way to reframe and look at everything in our reality. And it's not to judge matter. Matter is wonderful. Again, it's how there gets to be a you and a me. And it's part of how the mystery of life gets to experience itself and play and be in love and be in co-creation, right? But then when we bring the consciousness of, say, the heart, in the consciousness of the heart, suddenly those waves that as we work with the lower centers of the physical body of matter, those lower centers are slower waves that appear as particles that become matter. But when we come into the consciousness or the energy or the frequency of the heart and beyond with our other energy centers, we enter the invisible, right? We enter the place where there's no you and there's no me, there's just we, there's us. And it's unity consciousness. And that's just it's a whole different way from which to orient and live a life.
And it's what, oh, go ahead, Jeff.
I was going to say, so life as we experience it is infinite, it's eternal, we've always been and will always be, correct?
Isn't that awesome?
Yeah. Wow. Cool. It is cool.
And there is a part of us which is temporal, which is matter-based, which is, unless some things shift really quickly, and they could, this body may be here another 50 or 60 years on this plane in third dimension. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe we'll all have a mass ascension and awesome disclosure in the next decade. I'm in. But there is a persona, right? There's this part of us that is seemingly bound in time and space in a matter body, and yet the consciousness living it as each of our soul essence, as the mystery. I'm going to bow to the mystery again because I don't know any of this other than direct experience. But that part of us, yes, is infinite.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, living in the mystery. That's what gets you up in the morning, right?
Yeah. Love, really. I'd say it's love that gets me up in the morning.
Right.
Mm.
So you created this book, and Gabriela, I was going to research it. What were your other two books about?
One is about expressive arts. It's a toolkit with 22 different expressive arts, oracles, activities, and inquiries. Mostly it's for facilitators that love to integrate the arts and appreciative inquiry and meditations into their group work to go deeper dive with groups. That was the first one. And Inner Wealth was the name of that. And then there's One Love Nuggets, which are just pithy little superfood for the soul nuggets that as we read it, it is an inquiry that inspires our living in our moment.
I'll have to check that out. Yeah. Something else that I was thinking about, you talked about a practice, and definitely getting in the practice of journaling will help going inside. But how important is it for us to just get quiet? And I think other practices would call that meditation. Describe for us your practice about getting quiet and meditation and how that works in your life.
Thank you for asking. I have so many practices.
Well, that might be important to talk about too, because, I've had many friends say, oh, I've tried meditating and I just can't, I don't get it. I can't quiet my mind. But what I always tell them is there are a lot of different thoughts and ideas about meditation. And what you need to do is start out as a beginner for one, and find something that works for you.
Definitely, definitely. A lot of people ask, well, what's the best meditation?
Right.
And my response is always the same. It's the one you'll do.
Right.
And, for me, I'm a lover of multiplicity. I'm a lover of variety. And I love keeping my brain doing new things. I don't enjoy routines. So there's many ways that I meditate. I love the quieting that can happen being outside in nature. So the natural world for me is one of my greatest teachers. And even with eye open meditation, it is an incredible model of what it is to be in harmony, in peace, in co-creative, synergistic relationship. So I love the meditation of being outdoors, whether it's in my garden, gardening and having my hands in the dirt, or sitting by the creek side. Singing and chanting is one of my favorite meditations, and many would say that's also an ancient practice of pranayama or breath work, because we're singing and using the voice and moving energy and breath. And it's also a practice of silence, because especially after chanting sacred songs, medicine songs, mantras, the moment after that, it's as though all of the molecules and energy resettles and we go into a deep state of quiet. That said, there is a real gift in also learning to sit still and get quiet enough so that we can actually hear how busy our minds are.
Mine gets busy when I'm trying to fall asleep.
Yeah, and then some of this is literally, it's a shifting of brain waves, of going from beta brain waves or high beta, where we tend to be even in fight or flight, of shifting the energy. Sometimes it's as easy and as great to do, Jackie, when you're falling asleep, to take that active energy and maybe just put a hand on your heart and a hand on your belly and just invite your breath and your presence to be coming in and out of your heart, because that changes the rhythm of the waves in the heart. It changes the brain waves into a more alpha state, and eventually theta, and then delta, where we're actually able to kind of turn down for the night and put our autonomic nervous system into go mode, where it can do all of the healing and rejuvenation that we need to our nervous systems and to our bodies, while the mystery of our soul travels or does whatever it needs to do so that we wake up fresh.
Wow.
Yeah. And your book, we might want to preface this too, has a whole list of different types of meditation, right? And you just talked about a couple of them, but I know that there's standing meditation, there's sitting, that you mentioned the eye opening. And then throughout the journal, you kind of direct people to try those different types and then journal about it. Did I get it right?
Yes, more or less. Ultimately, the whole journal is set up to wake up our awareness, our aliveness, our joyfulness, and then take that into the walking meditation of life, right? So for me, life is the ultimate meditation, and to do it with eyes open wherever we can, and to do it in a way where we are fully embodied and vibrating at the highest level of being, at the frequency of love, of unity, of connection, of joy. Because this, as you know, you both live it. I can feel it from you and from what we've shared already, that you know that how you are vibrating is going to directly impact what you are creating and how you are interacting with your world. And so the book is set up to be templates. What I mean is that it's your book. After those 23 pages of introduction and skills and practices and activities, it becomes a book that you fill with your insights, with your experience. There's invitations to do the pause and surrender, to do the unity coherence meditation, to drink a glass of water and imagine yourself drinking in the quantum field, to put on your favorite music and just dance and shake it all down for 3 minutes. Yeah,
you make me want to dance now. Where's the music?
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so it's really set up so that over time, it becomes a lifestyle shift. It becomes a way of life, And that then the participant, reader of the journal, gets to decide, hey, I love the jump for joy exercise. I'm going to do that one today. Or I really love flooding gratitude, or flooding that yes on that goal or intention or creation that I'm wanting to see manifest. I'm going to focus on that. So that the book is really designed to start giving invitation and almost like a recipe, ingredients, but it only comes to life when people do it.
Yeah.
So it's a practice. And this isn't meant to be done all in one day, right?
No, the journal is actually set up so that some of my clients have done it, have touched it every day. If you touch it every day and do a page a day, it lasts about 3 months. Others just want to do it once a week or every other day, or have their own. It's really essential to me as a midwife of the new paradigm, as a lover of life, walking with people on their evolutionary journey, that I point them back to their own intelligence, to their own wisdom, to their own natural time. So it's not a cookie cutter. It's not from a defined place how to use it. It's really from a more playful, mysterious place of wonder that each being defines for themselves.
You know, that's such a curious phrase that you just said, a midwife of life, because Jackie and I both belong to an organization that really births people into, you know, a higher confident self. And, you know, I've formulated the idea that nothing warms my heart more than to see the lights come on in somebody's eyes. And that's just exactly what you were describing as a midwife of life, right?
Yes.
And now Jackie, working with the kids, she's birthing these young individuals into skills.
Yes. Come on.
Truly,
baby.
though, skills that they wouldn't have acquired otherwise. I mean, in speaking their truth and connecting with others on a reality basis and not a virtual basis. I mean, it's just really cool.
It is. I think that's so amazing, Jackie, that you're at a place where you're giving these young people not only the remembrance that their voice matters and that we need their voices more than ever, but you're also giving them the skills to be able to articulate that in a way that they can communicate what it is they most value. Is really powerful.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that, because I came from a childhood where I really had no voice and I had no one I could tell, you know, my experiences with. And so I want to prevent that from happening with these kids if I can. I want them to feel confident in saying what they need to say to whomever they need to say it. But Gabriela, I know you give these on your website. You have a list of what you call play shops. And some of them are titled, got one that's titled Song Carriers, Open Circles and Song. You've got The Future of Children, which interests me, of course. Living Our Sweetest Spot, and Let Your Soul Pilot Your Way. So what do you have happen in these? And these are live. This is a group of people coming to you for these with these play shops. So can you describe what one of those might be like and how many people are in your play shops? Because I see you've got one in Washington coming up in
Where?
July.
Where?
British Columbia.
Yeah.
Oh, BC.
Yeah, Canada. That's going to be a great one. You know, they're all very unique. The Future of Children in British Columbia is actually with a dear mentor and uncle named Philip Moore, who is really a evolutionary and elder in bringing love-based education to the world. And he is a former director for 47 years of an alternative wild school, an amazing school in Michigan. And the work we're doing together is really about shifting the paradigm of education. And again, it's shifting it in a way where it's love-based and it's the future of children, but really it's the future of all of us, and inviting us into a paradigm that's an emergent intelligence that comes from the collective, from the interbeing, and is under the beautiful standing ones, the trees in British Columbia, It'll be in this outrageously beautiful retreat center on Cortez Island. And it will gather conscious educators from all over the world, mostly from the US and Canada, but from all over the world, who will gather so that they can become the conscious, lit up leaders who are at the leading edge of how do we transform education to a love-based education where we are intimately connected with nature and the earth, the sense of love that when we love something, we naturally want to protect it, to preserve it, we're bonded to it. And so that's what we're going to be doing in British Columbia at the Future of Children.
Nice.
And all of,
Look at
all
Jackie.
of the places.
You can see light bulbs going off in her
I
head.
want to go.
Oh my goodness, ladies, we just have about 3 minutes left, and I want to make sure I thank Gabriela for coming. And in your website, Gabriela, is GabrielaMasala.com, and you can go there and find out about her play shops. And what else can we find there, Gabriela?
Have you recorded any music, Gabriela?
You know, I have. I love music. I love singing. And there is Bhakti Masala.
Is that you? Because I listened to that and I wasn't sure it was you because of the different name, but I thought that was so beautiful.
Uh-oh.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Well, that's actually available for free online.
Nice.
That music is available for anyone who wants to hear it. And it's been a pleasure to be with you both.
Wow.
It's been great fun. I do have to tell you that Jackie's husband has an amazing voice, so she can appreciate good vocals.
Yes, but he's in rock and roll. It's a little bit of a different energy.
it's still music, and you know, it moves people's hearts. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, and I think we all have amazing voices. So, one for all.
Yeah.
Well, Gabriela, thank you again. It's been a joy. I hope you're open to coming back because I think that there is so much more that we could talk about.
I would love to. Thank you.
Cool. Oh my gosh, Jackie, who do we have? We have Dr. Gary
Salyer's coming back.
Yay.
Yay. The Love Doc.
With the Love Doc. And that's going to be a great show. You might have remembered he was on the show a couple months ago, but the recording didn't happen. So it was a great opportunity for us to bring him back. And he wrote an amazing book, Safe to Love Again.
Love Again, yes.
And we're going to be excited to have him back.
Yeah.
And look at Gabriela. She's just sitting there smiling away. You have such a great spirit, and I really dig your energy. And thanks again for coming on the show.
My pleasure. Thank you both. Likewise.
That's about all we have time for today. This hour just blew by. I don't know where it went, but I know that we created some great content. It will be on iHeartRadio later and on our brand new YouTube channel. So check that out and make sure you tell your friends about it. Lastly, as always, I would just really appreciate it if you had a great day. It's all about choice, and we'll see you again next week. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to Life